watchers, welcome back to Faith, Family, and Fun Reviews. If you're new here on this channel, I share with you delightful, family-friendly, and faith-based movies and television shows. Y'all, I feel like I've been away for a long time, and it's crazy because only time that I don't spend with y'all is on Saturdays, and it still feels like it's been a long time that we talk. I know that's kind of weird. It really does feel that way for some reason. I don't know. But anyways, how y'all doing today? How's your Sunday going? How was your weekend? Did y'all ever get out to the theaters at all? Or stream something that was inspiring or encouraging? Did you get to snuggle up with Jesus and your family this weekend? All of that, drop it in the comments because y'all know I am here for it. And I just need to know how y'all doing today. What is going on, okay? But hold on. Okay, y'all, I am back. Y'all know how it go. Y'all know how it go. Okay, interruptions happen. They happen from time to time. Okay. But anyways, as far as me, I had an amazing weekend. Very productive week last week that kind of spilled into the weekend, so it was pretty productive for me as well. I could use a little bit more, rest and stuff, but it's all right. It's all right. And no complaints on this end, okay? We alive. God is for us. Who can be against us? All that good stuff. So I'm good. I'm in a good place. But anyways, y'all, as you can tell by the title of this video, we are back with a movie review. I'm so excited to be sharing this film with y'all. Okay, How to Train Your Dragon. Yes, y'all, how to train them, okay? But anyways, yes, I made it out to the theater this weekend and I saw this film and I was like, okay. Well, first, let me tell y'all what this film is about. On the rugged Isle of Berk, a Viking boy named Hiccup defies centuries of tradition by befriending a dragon named Toothless. However, when an ancient threat emerges that endangers both species, Hiccup's friendship with Toothless becomes the key to forging a new future. Now, faith watchers out here, I know it's been an animation film based on this film some time ago. I have never watched it, so I literally went into this film not knowing anything, not knowing the backstory, not knowing how loved this film is. I assumed that it was because I would see commercials. I think that was on Universal Studios that is there in that theme park, one of them theme parks, okay? I don't know which one. I think it was probably mostly Universal Studios. And so I was like, I know this must be such a beloved like film, or but I went into this not really knowing anything, and I'm happy that I did because sometimes that's needed, okay? I don't really want to know anything. I just want to go in there and see and judge the film based off the film in its entirety. So for those of you who love this film, who is like Hiccup, Toothless, like fanatics and all of that, y'all give me grace, grant me grace like y'all did for oh goodness, what's the other film? Child, it don't slip my mind. I feel like I'm constantly watching movies and they kind of run into each other, spill over. But y'all know, okay? So yes, I'm going into this not knowing anything. And so I have to say, this was such a thrilling adventure filled with a lot of action. I love the third act of this film. It really just got into it. But yes, here we are introduced to the character Hiccup, which is a very strange character name to me, okay? I'm just being real and honest, but it's strange, but it's interesting at the same time. And I'm like, okay, and thinking about its target audience, kids here, I mean, that does make sense and all of that. So yeah, okay, that gets a pass. But really, it's really a cute and strange, interesting name for a character. And here we meet him. When we are introduced to him on film, right away, I am feeling for this character, very engaged with everything that is going on as it is introducing these people, these Vikings, this land, and all of this stuff. And I'm just thinking as I'm watching the film into certain things, let me just say that because I know I'm going to be all over the place in this review because I don't know, that's how I feel. I'm just trying to stick in certain things that really like touch me in some kind of way or just really make me think about something. I'm trying to walk y'all through my emotional journey as I was watching this film. I know it's after the fact, but y'all, okay, I still have to do that with y'all, okay? It's just how it goes on this channel. But yeah, automatically, like I said, being introduced to Hiccup, you're feeling for this character, especially if you are someone whether you're this age or not, because we all been there or we all there or about to be there, okay? we all in different seasons, but I feel like this film, that's what made this film so special, because to me, it touched every age group for every season of your life, because we have all felt like that we may not have been enough. We all felt like that we kind of been alone, or we kind of stick out like a sore thumb for whatever reason. We just didn't fit in the crowd, especially if you are a believer. We know that because the Bible even tells us we're a peculiar people. So not everybody understands us. Not everybody's going to click with us. And that can make you feel some kind of way. And that's what I was thinking on our walk, our journey in particular with this character Hiccup. Just knowing that you've been given a gift, but at the same time, it's like, it doesn't fit in with everybody else. You don't fit into this box that this world has created. And sometimes it can make you feel like, oh, like you feel a little bit down or disappointed or left out, or maybe even try to prove yourself like this character Hiccup did. He even went as far as trying to mold himself to be a part of the team here, to be a part of his people, especially with his dad, you know, kind of want to prove something to his father, want to get that approved. And we all been there with parents, guardians, or whatever, or someone in your life, just wanting them to be proud of you and accept who you are. And at the same time, you haven't necessarily accepted who you are. And so this whole journey that Hiccup went on was a journey of self-reflection. It was a journey of really getting to know that who he is and accepting who he is, and then embracing it to the point where it just changed a whole people, and it changed a whole century of tradition here. And I just so felt that. I felt every moment that Hiccup went through, from the disappointments to the failures to having that little not really that moment with him and his dad, when his dad kind of just was like, you're not my, almost like disowned him in that moment. Your heart just crushed. It just broke all over, because you see the character, you see it on his face. You see like everything in his body just crushed, like his whole spirit just almost went out of him in that moment, because he was being who he was. And it's like when you're fighting to be someone else, it's like you either going to do like most people do in the world, conform to the things of the world, or you're going to be to a point where it's this inner struggle and you're like, oh, you trying to be something that you're not, like Hiccup went through, but at the same time, who you really are is kind of overpowering that, because that's that spirit inside of us, God, who has already accepted us and said we're accepted into the beloved, and knows, I have already set you aside. I appointed you for a particular thing. And it's like the more you fight it, the more that you find yourself where you're like disheartening inside and you just can't force yourself. And Hiccup had that moment when he met Toothless for the very first time, which was a very powerful scene. And in that moment, he could have been conformed to the things of this world, his people, and took Toothless out, because that's just how their people were when it came to dragons. Or he could have made a different decision, which he ended up making, which is to be who he was. And that just wasn't inside of him. He wasn't that. He was not a dragon killer. And I just love that, because it really just made you take a look into your inside and hold that mirror up to yourself and be like, what is it about you that makes you different, that sets you apart? And now looking at that part of you and saying, you know what? I'm happy to be who God created me to be. Yes, I'm not a part of the in crowd. Yes, it may feel lonely on this journey, especially when I looked at it in the sense of, I looked at it in every sense of the word, but especially when I looked at it in the sense of YouTube and being like one of the few, I'm going to say, because I have been searching like crazy way before I even got on here. But even after the point of starting this journey with the Lord, with having this channel, a faith-based and family-friendly only channel, I have been looking for others who are like on that same journey and have yet to come across that. And so it does feel kind of lonely, because you don't have that connection. You can't really collab with anyone. And because y'all don't, what fellowship does light have with darkness, right? And so that's constantly playing throughout my mind, and it does feel like a lonely journey on here. But at the same time, like watching Hiccup, I'm like embracing that part of me, which is a part of this channel, which is so different, makes it so different and stands apart from everything else on YouTube. And I'm like, you know what? This is amazing. This is bravery. This is courageousness. And I remember throughout the film that I was like, oh, I want to be brave, God. I want to be courageous like Hiccup, because it takes a courageous person to be who they are, regardless of whether they're accepted or not, regardless of people go against you, because that's what you do find on that journey, that more people are likely to be against you than for you when you decide to go against the grain, when you actually decide to be who the person God has created you to be, because not most people are brave enough to be who they are. They rather be what the world says is accepted. Most people would rather just conform because it's easier and they don't have to deal with the pain, the heartache, the disappointments, and different things like that. But it takes a special kind of person to be like Hiccup and say, you know what? I am who I am. This is who God created me to be, and I'm going to walk in this. I'm going to do it to the very best of my ability. And if it wasn't for him taking that stance and embracing who he was, even when he had that fallout between him and his own father, which I know crushed him in that very moment, as well as the entire little nations of Vikings here, it took everything inside of him to be who he was. And on top of that, had an amazing friend that loved him for who he was, to have Toothless right there beside him, and for him to see himself in Toothless. And that reminded me of our word here with God. Yes, we don't always see him, I mean, with our physical natural eyes, but he is here because he told us he will never leave nor forsake us. And I can hold this Bible up like you can too, as a mirror, and see myself in God, because he is his word. And we need that. So when we do feel alone, or when we feel like who sees us, who understands us, we know that God is here. Jesus is here for us. He already walked this path, so he knows every feeling that you're feeling. And so we can rely on him and just kind of lean into him and trust that you're not a mistake. Everything about you was meant, it was created from the beginning, and you're fearfully and wonderfully made. And that right there makes you just as courageous as Hiccup, right? So all of these different things went through my mind as I was watching the film. Like I said, I found myself praying through different moments, like, oh, I want to be courageous, I want to be brave, and all of this stuff, and just really being up with these characters. And there was so many different aspects to this film, like so many different lessons, life lessons here. And so I know it was such a beautiful film for kids who definitely are going through different things that we may not even understand, because it's a total different time as opposed to when you were a kid some time ago. But like I said, this film just hits so many different areas, whether regardless of what age you are, you're gonna find some part of you, something that you needed, something that you was longing for, something that you needed to see in this film, on top of getting that action. A little bit of that thrill, being on the edge of your seat, fighting along with these characters, rooting with them, feeling captivated and captured in that moment right there. So it was just amazing. Once again, this film is titled How to Train Your Dragon, playing in your local theaters right now. If you have young ones, little kids, teens, tweens, or even yourself, get out there and watch this. Embrace the journey, embrace whoever God has created you to be, and know that you're not a mistake. Know that you are loved by the most wonderful, most amazing, loving Father that we would ever see. Ever. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this scripture before I leave y'all for the day. And we are coming out of Psalms 93 verse 4, and it reads, "The Lord on high is mightier than the noise of many waters, than the mighty waves of the sea." But that's all I have for y'all for this video. Thank y'all so much for watching. As always, please remember to leave y'all thoughts, your prayers, your overall take in the comment section below, because I do read them. I do enjoy hearing from you, and I always make it a point to get back to you, especially if you have a question, a request, a recommendation, whatever it may be. I am here, y'all. So until next time, may the Lord bless and keep you both now and forevermore.